Welcome back to the Two Guys, Two Dogs, Four Wheels, and this is part one of two videos over the festive period where we're going to take a look back over 2024. And in today's vlog we're going to explore what has gone on in the market with motorhomes and the industry across the year. It's been quite an interesting one, a lot of turbulence, a lot of change, and sadly a few farewells along the way too. So stay tuned as we take a little look back through 2024. Clearly, the motorhome market has been navigating choppy waters through 2024, and this was the main headline story. Back at the start of the year, we brought you the news that MBH Holdings, which had a share in several motorhome and caravan dealers across the UK, fell into administration. So first up in this vlog, let's take a look at what's happened in the changing face of dealers and the network across the UK as we've said a few farewells through this year. This resulted in that immediate closure of the Robinsons Group too. What we did see though was a rescue for White Archers. Spinney stepped in and they acquired this site, bringing two new acquisitions across the Midlands with the Broadlane site and the Rushden and Wellingborough sites from White Archers. We also brought you the news mid-year that one of the longest standing dealers in the UK, Broadlane Leisure, despite selling a site, could not stay afloat, and we sadly said goodbye to Broadlane mid-year. We've seen a number of smaller dealer closures across the UK as the challenges and pressures of a post-pandemic world and financial pressures have hit, along with the rising costs of new motorhomes, which are clearly having an impact for some people. And then we've seen quite a bit of consolidation too, and a good example of this has been towards the end of the year where the Leisure World Group have consolidated from 3 sites down to 1, in effect creating a super site to cover the whole Yorkshire region. Now, Spinney are becoming what I would call one of these new super dealers in that they've now got multiple sites across the UK. And is this a sign of things to come? Less smaller local dealers and larger dealer groups with less sites. Let's see what 2025 brings, and we hope that the market stays a bit more stable and gets back to a normal level. Now, if you've been with us most of this last year, you'll have seen we've visited a fair few dealers and we've looked at a fair few motorhomes through that time. And here are some of the highlights of our look at the industry as we went through 2024. To help with our research and bring you our market updates, we spent quite a bit of time on the dealer forecourts, and we visited a number of these across mainly the East Midlands and East Anglia in our own geographical region. But this did help us get a broad picture of trends and patterns and the quality of some of the used stock in particular that is sitting on some of the forecourts. Now, what we did find with some of the used vehicles is that as there are many more for sale, the quality of some of them is variable, and the quality of the stock between some of the dealers is also variable. So this is very much a shop around buyer's market at the end of 2024, and taking your time to really find the vehicle you want, because you will find it by doing that shopping around and not having to panic buy the ones that you did see like we did through those pandemic years. What we also learnt from being on the dealer forecourts was that the offers for part exchanges are so variable still. And this was a big learning point for the back end of 2024. The dealers don't quite know where to pitch what they're offering you for the vehicle. And what we're also seeing then in turn when the vehicles go up for sale, the prices that they're asking for used vehicles is so vastly different from one dealer to the other that true levelling down of the market wasn't quite there. So if you are a buyer, there is lots to consider as you step into 2025. There's a lot of new stock, so get the best deal, haggle, fight for the right price, visit numerous dealers to seek out the best deal, and we have shared some of those at the back end of the year, and we will continue to do so through 2025. So what happened to prices in 2024? It's a difficult one to sum up, but there's definitely a levelling taking place. So let's have a little look back and see what's happened to prices through the year. What we really enjoyed bringing you through 2024 was our market updates. Month by month, we scanned the motorhome market, looking at both new and used vehicles to get a picture and a trend of what was happening with prices and stock levels across the UK. Now, what we found in general was that there is a more realistic pricing coming through by the end of the year with the used prices. Now, taking into account an inflationary effect, if you like, there is a more realistic price point now for some of the used vehicles, particularly those coming up to sort of 4 or 5 years old. What we have seen, though, are massively increased stock levels of new vehicles across the dealers. But with this, and despite the increased stock levels, we are seeing a rise in price in the cost of the base and motorhome vehicles. So it's something to look out for in 2025, because as we ended the year, what we are seeing is some of the bigger dealers are sitting on a lot of new vehicles. Brownhills is back at over 250 plus new on-site, unregistered vehicles, and a place like Loudham's, for example, has got over 100 new vehicles in stock. So it's going to be an interesting start to the next year. The back end of the year also saw a lot of discounting and price reductions and so-called sales and offers coming through most of the dealers. They were trying to clear quite a bit of the 2024 and in some cases remaining 2023 stock vehicles. So we are starting to see quite a bit of competition back in the marketplace that we haven't seen over the last 3 or 4 years. So this has been a big change and something to look out for as we go into the new year, as already over this Christmas period we are seeing a number of the dealers advertising their January sales and offers for the start of the new year. Mainly, as I say, because they're sitting on a lot of vehicles. In October we took a little look at the NEC show, and what we did see there was a good turnover of sales for quite a number of the dealers. And we got to have a good look round some of the new vehicles for 2025. Again, this underscored the uplift in prices, but mainly due to the increased cost of the base vehicles from both the Stellantis group and Ford, which is having an impact on the motorhome prices and campervan prices right now. But for some of the manufacturers, they're not updating the habitation bit of the motorhomes enough. Short of a few decals and fabric and trim updates, they need to be doing a little bit more to bring things up to date to justify the massive increase in prices that we are seeing. So quite an interesting year there, and we've had quite the experience looking at the industry, visiting the dealers and finding out what's going on in the motorhome world. So I wonder what 2025 might bring. Well, we will certainly be back out there in the new year. We'll get out and have a look at a few more motorhomes and keep our eye on the market and bring you some updates with prices of both the new and the used, and try and keep our finger on the pulse for you once again as we go through next year. We'll be out in the motorhome again over the festive period, and we'll give you a little sneak of that very soon. So join us in the next one, part 2, where we'll take a look back at our travels through 2024 and some of the exciting places we've been and some of the countries we've visited on our travels. And we'll see you very soon.